helicopters don't last. Your helicopters don't last. Here's your last battery, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
And I bet you can't even fly the helicopter.
I don't think it crashes into the wall.
No, the only reason I like this one better than the other options they had there is because it has fine tuning.
Hi.
It's a Chinese helicopter. Anything else flies. What it's going to do is going to go up, it's going to go down, and it's going to break, and you throw it away. If I were rich, you know what I'd do? I'd buy a shipping container, and I'd make all the kids take their Chinese toys, put them in a shipping container, and send them back to China.
I'm like bugging right up.
I'd have them drop it on a race pack. Here's the garbage pack. It's that manufacturer, see? It's so cheap, but it's stupid. If they made a quality product, you might actually have a game. I got new earbuds. They like mine. Mine are Bluetooth. Mine are Bluetooth. Come on, Jack.
No! That's why no one's ever last.
Probably one of the most dense regions in the Fortnite competitive scene.
Hey, Alan, yeah. Hey, baby. Alan, do you have one of the small chargers? Small one for this.
Yeah.
Right.
Directly above us, we're going to stay on this low ground.
Now 6, 7, 8 are going to be outside of the storm every time this trio gets into the safe zone, and then big knock on Yanis on the same layers there as they're going to make their full rotation. That is the power of having priority. You can kind of look back and they get a squeeze as well. So they're going to trade out when Nakos is going to go down, pick up the quick heal. That's a great benefit as well, being on the front side of the storm. You have the time to res, and they're going to barely get that res off. And now we're going to take a look at the chaos. You're going to have the low ground form up. You're going to have the mid ground form up. And of course, who is at height is always the question that everybody wants to know, because they're going to have the power position here to walk away with the victory royale. Savage goes down and gets fully confirmed in the feed. All the names are going to start lighting up here for a moment here, Sundown.
Yeah, now we have our placement points beginning to get doled out, and they're going to come in very quickly. Already 35 players remaining, but a good execution there coming through from Nakos and Co to get back to a strong 3. Now they're going to about face and start spraying shots. Andalix will also get confirmed by Blackie, so that's our second place team being taken down. We talked about Rojo and Co, but there be no Mo there as he gets taken out. However, Mongrel, Tayson, Mitro, if the #1 team doesn't fall and gets high ground every game, this is going to be a race for second as they open up match number 6. the day yesterday, controlling high ground, raining in the AR shots with nary. So we're going to up on board here with the French trio, who's continuing to work on the low ground for eliminations so far. Nakos has the legendary pump as well as the bandage cannon, so good opportunity to potentially execute here in the late game and make some plays.
CRR stealth Wolfies does get knocked, but it is an opportunity though for at least Clement, Floki, and Nakos to kind of close the gap as much as possible. Yes, already metaphorically as well. On top of the leaderboard is Mongrel, and on height is this game as Nakos does pick up an Elan right then and there. It's so important though. We've been seeing the play style in the EU region to overcome height at a moment's notice. We've been seeing a lot of low ground victory royales. The question is can Mongrels hold on? And Kenzo is actually going for height. It's Cammy. Two teams are competing from height, and it's going to be Tayson that's going to be left on alone. And you mentioned Mongrel going down. Mitro and Tayson are going to have to do it as Cammy and Raxo take control of height, as you see on your bottom right. On the top right is going to be the low ground. And Clement, and man, look at them. They're getting so many elims right now. Already with 7 Sundown.
And there's plenty more on the board. They're also getting the placement points, taking over top 4 with 9 players remaining. But all of a sudden, Clement is all alone. He's going to turn around and pick up CRR. It's going to be a 1v3. He finds a second right away. That was Mitro for the full confirm, but he goes down in third. Raxo up on the high ground, running it out now, and the challenge comes up from Kinzo, and he gets swatted down. Raxo and Gamma Gaming Cammy will close that one out. 9 eliminations and 34 points from the Victory Royale. Match 6 closes out there.
In a blink of an eye, before you know it, a victory royale is accrued by Raxo and Co. We're going to need the breakdown from Zeke, Shayo, and Reese. What you got for us, fellas?
What we got, Sancho, is day 2, and we have even more day 2 teams. This is what we were talking about at the very beginning of this show. Cammy, Artur, I cannot believe they find themselves the Victory Royale. Just for clarity, they came in and ended day 1 in 14th place. And now they're going to start day number 2 with the Victory Royale and eliminations. I mean, this is exactly what we've been talking about. I'm so surprised, and gentlemen, we're going to break down kind of what went down a little bit more in just a little bit. But remember, we've got the standings. We have these cumulative leaderboards. You've still got Mongrel, Mitro, and Tayson. They're far and away, even after that game. I mean, 40 points ahead? I don't know how they're doing this.
It's like they didn't win that last game, but they did not lose it either. They got to survive all the way till the very end, and now they have an even bigger lead, Reese.
17-point match for them. Really, really nice. And like obviously, like we said, we need to keep this consistency up. They're already coming in strong on the first game of day 2, consistent as they were yesterday. We can see kind of Andalex not managed to get that many points, only 4, so they're still holding on to that second place spot. But you know, they really want to be trying to bridge that gap between first and second, and so far it's only gone a little bit further.
Yeah, so our top 3 also switched up with Benji going down to 5th, and then we see another trio, Kinzo, Wolfies, and CRR get 3rd overall. This is what Zeke was talking about, though. Raxo, Cammy, and Artur, a Victory Royale. 14th place all the way now to 6th with 76 points.
Wow, that's impressive. And you know, to answer a little bit of Sancho's question, how did they do it? They did it because they were popping off on low ground, being really, really consistent. They managed to keep that mobility for the end game, take height, and win the game that way. So really nice play from them, pushing them up from 14th all the way up to 6th.
Yeah, and all the way from 6th down to 15th. There's been a few switch-ups here and there. Nate, Rojo, and Bobo move all the way up to 11th from 15th from what we saw before. Cooler, Robabs, and Blackie are getting that Victory Royale, but are slightly teetering off now, dropping out of the top 10th place. And Paige, we'll see if they can bring it all the way back. Vettel, iDrop, and Stair6 also a trio to look out for that plays very consistently. And Falconly, Yaxo, and Skype, I love actually seeing their names now. It looks so clean in 15th place. 47 points, not too far behind the competition. Still very close for the top 15.
You gotta love it. You gotta love it when you can read the names, it's clear, and you can find the players. I love it. And all the teams that you're seeing here between 16th and 20, you know, most of these guys are really struggling with that early and mid game, in particular with Storm Surge. You know, these guys in this grand finals kind of lobbies, going for Storm Surge tags is extremely difficult, and your strategy really needs to be down. Wheezy Milan Chapix in 19th, coming out of Craggy, is really struggling with that right now. So hopefully they can figure out their strategy, get their points, and keep moving.
I think we could chalk some of this up to just first game jitters, right? Like, we've watched the top three, except Mongo, Rachel, and Tasty, kind of fall a little earlier on than expected. But again, we've got 7 total games. We've got 6 more. It's okay, just first game jitters. Let's just test the waters. Okay, game 2. It's time to bring it. Let's go ahead and talk about what kind of transpired in this last game, as well as walk back through the victory royale. There's a couple key things that happened there that if you blinked, you missed it.
Absolutely. Throughout the entire FNCS, we've been focusing on the top 8, the top 15. Now it's about the top 3, especially from day number 1 and how they looked. Mongrel, Micho, and Tayson landing over at Stark Industries, one of the best POIs, and they had a very good game in day number 2.
Some would say the best POI, but the second best POI, in my opinion. Over at Doom's Domain, we're checking in with what was our 3rd place team, which was Benji, Savage, and Leche. They are contested similarly to the NQ games of day 1 by the dual media trio, fighting off spawn every game now.
Yep, and Reese, this is your pick over at Sweaty Sands. They're looking pretty strong as well.
They're looking strong, and you know, the Twitter was going wild about Sweaty Sands last night. They were talking about it heavily because it is a fantastic draw spot, but unfortunately they didn't seem to manage to perform out of it that day.
Yeah, over here, we'll tune in with Tayson, Micho, and Mongrel. The reason they find themselves in this low ground chaos is because Cammy, Artur, and Raxo saved all their shockwaves, saved their actual crash pads, took height in the 8th zone. These guys only had enough mats to sustain, not retake height, and they ended up falling. Here's Lechi, Benji, and Savage continuing that fight with a dual media trio over at Doom's Domain. Lechi goes down. It's just Savage and Benji left in the end game.
Yeah, it's just Savage and Benji left. They did what they could, but that fight took them way too long. They ended up being in the zone with 2 other trios in the 2nd zone, still in Doom's Domain, made them rotate late, and that left them with horrible materials because they ended up getting focused in that endgame.
And we have Andalex, X-Squeeze, and Janice in the endgame as well. Also a little bit shambles. It looks like all these day 2 trios have improved. These day 1 type of top performers, the top 3, are looking to repeat things, but they will have to adapt to how these teams, such as Raxo, Artur, and Cammy, are closing out these games.
Yeah, and like I kind of alluded to earlier, these guys took height with those shockwave plays in that last moving zone, and because Mitro, Mongrel, and Tayson did not have enough materials to maintain the high ground, they could not take it back at that point. It was secured for Cammy, Raxo, and Artur. They just continually pressured down from there on, and that was the victory royale.
Man, I mean, again, first game jitters. We'll see. We got to see for the data from game number 2. The question is, though, is there going to be a new day 2 trio that will pop up like this one that we just watched, or will our first day trios show up? Well, let's find out as we jump back into game with our casters. Take it away.
So much, Zeke. I am Sancho West alongside Sundown, and it is a new day. Yes, it is. We are seeing some new trios who are trying to meet the performance of our day 1 trios. And hey, that number 2, sometimes a sequel, it can be better than the original. We all talk about movies here. Sundown, you've seen it before, and here's take a look at our game 2 of 7 here in the grand finals. And we're gonna see a finish here up in the Northwest region, which is gonna really favor that Doom's Domain, and more importantly, that Sweaty Sands trio.
Yeah, what is going on just slightly west there of the ruins? There's like 3 different teams and 3 different triangles all fighting over kind of the one henchman chest that's guaranteed in that area, and a couple others. So a couple scavenger routes that are directly on top of each other. We're gonna hop on board here with